Hey, I'm Steve Oakers.
Julie Bacon.
Liz Keegan.
Sue Pastor.
And this is What's in the Cup. Cheers.
Cheers.
Liz, natural at cheers. Natural. So we have Liz from the Fair Housing Organization with us. Special guest number 2, right? We had Ryan, but we're really excited. This month is Fair Housing Month, right?
Correct, yes.
And so that's, I think, why we did this,
And
right?
this year-
And we want to know,
And
right?
this year is their 50th anniversary.
50th anniversary.
Of the
for
passage of the
Fair
Fair
Housing
Housing
For the
Act.
passage.
Right, yeah.
Amazing. So, can you just give us sort of a dump of information, right? Like, our audience is real estate professionals, but then just people that are in our community
Sure.
and from all walks of life, suburban and metro, and just what is your organization? What are you focused on, and what are you doing around West
Sure.
Michigan?
That's actually a perfect description because we have a 2-armed approach to fair housing,
Yeah.
where we try to take fair housing and meet any group wherever they're at, including first graders in the classroom, which is frankly terrifying to me, but I'm learning how to work with that and read a children's book about fair housing.
Yeah.
But we really try to lead with a handshake and work with your core audience for housing professionals. That's how I've met all of you. But we're also willing to provide information about fair housing rights. So you have the laws that tell us what the responsibilities are. And we try to develop best practices to help industry members know what to do. The laws will tell you what not to do.
Yeah.
That leaves a lot of gray space
Yep.
of how do we do this well, how do we do it right? So we want to share that information and develop those best practices with the industry. And we want to let people who are seeking housing, loans, homeowners insurance, to know what fair housing is, what their rights are, and what housing discrimination looks like. So I want to talk a little bit about what fair housing is. So fair housing is a set of civil rights laws that say you cannot discriminate against groups of people based on their status under law. Those are called protected classes. And we have 7 protected classes that cover the entire country, 2 more here in Michigan, which a lot of people don't know about. So we try to really help educate and say there's 9 groups that you cannot discriminate in housing against anywhere in Michigan. And then some local communities, including Grand Rapids, have chosen to add another layer at the local level and say, you know what, we're going to protect against discrimination based on sexual orientation or source of income for people who might be on subsidies or have non-traditional sources of income.
Okay.
So there's, the legal aspect of this is what we want you to do and
Yeah.
to know about.
Yeah.
But for me personally, what I'm so passionate about for fair housing is choice. What these laws were set up to do is enable people to identify what works for me, what's important to me. And I think the key takeaway that has been a big part of this series is where you live in today's communities and neighborhoods dictates how you live. It tells you what access you have to opportunity. So if you can find transportation, healthcare that meets your needs, the school system that works for you or your family, it's all tied to where you live. So that's why I'm very passionate about housing choice. We've also talked quite a bit about what's happening in the market. It's very tight, it's very competitive. So it's already hard to get housing right now. And you add a layer of discrimination on race, disability, presence of children, your national origin. It makes something that's currently difficult for the most prepared among us that much harder.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan was talking earlier in some of the earlier episodes about biased, right? And that often we don't realize our biased. And
Correct.
I think that, a thing that I didn't realize you have is a children's book, right?
Yes.
What is the name of the children's book? Because I have children, right?
Oh,
And I'm
yes.
like, man, it
Yep.
would be great for me to have a book about this.
Yep.
One, because I probably read at that level and it'd be good for me. But ultimately for my
5th
children.
grader higher. Yeah.
So what is the book's name? But also, we're in real estate, right? And a lot of our audience is in real estate. When I hear fair housing, I think of the boogeyman, right? The person,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Do
honestly,
I look like the boogeyman?
Yeah.
No. I mean,
No.
I'm trying to be so warm and fuzzy.
but the person
But that's
that's going
a
to
common
police me,
conception,
right?
correct.
You go through
Yes.
licensing, and it's don't do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, right? And we think of fair housing as a thing that we have to be careful because otherwise
Correct.
we're going to get in trouble.
Yes.
Where that is not what your goal is, right?
Right.
It's education on what is fair for everyone to be able to
Absolutely.
have housing, right?
Because
Right.
what in our conversations,
Yes.
what we found is people don't intentionally
The
try to
majority of the
violate
time,
fair
it's
housing.
Right.
completely
At all.
unintentional and lack
Right.
of a knowledge and
Yeah.
awareness.
Correct.
So most
Recognizing
of your
it.
work is in knowledge and education, right?
Raising that
People
awareness.
want to do the right thing, but they
Yes.
don't know what to say.
Right.
Because of
What
that
can you say,
instilled
what can't
bias.
you say? And you help them with those
We do,
talking
yes.
points and
We
how to
accept phone
navigate that in
calls.
real estate.
Right, we don't have caller ID, so we'll talk through, based on what information the housing professional shares, we can tell them what guidance to look at or best practices that we know of. So we can do that anonymously. People can also report housing discrimination to us anonymously, and that includes the industry. You guys know the law, right? Especially in lending and real estate, you have more training. And you recognize when discrimination is endangering a deal. That has happened multiple times. So about a quarter of our allegations come from housing professionals. And I think that's a huge victory and a pretty rare thing for a fair housing center to be able to say, our industry knows us, they understand that we're willing to work together to achieve the ultimate goal of full equal housing opportunity. We want to meet those parties wherever they're at. So I have gone to conferences and found that my workshop was titled How to Get Out of Fair Housing Jail. Or Fair Housing
The boogeyman, I told you.
yes, and I'm really kind of disappointed when that happens because
Right.
that's not our approach.
Right.
So, and West Michigan is truly a collaborative place that allows us to do that. And I have to say, real estate agents, public school officials, community members, they founded our Fair Housing Center. So we have a unique history where the whole community was coming together, very similar to the ICCF origin of saying, this is a community issue. We can bring people together across all levels to work on this together. It's more successful when you have everyone participating.
Yeah. Let's talk about that in the next
So,
episode.
sounds good.
What is the book that I need to buy?
Yes, it is the Fair Housing 5 and the Haunted House.
Fair Housing 5 and the Haunted House.
Yes.
And if people want to know more
Visible
about
email.
the organization, how would they get in contact with you?
So our website is our initials, so it's fhcwm.org. So short for Fair
Perfect.
Housing Fair Housing Center West Michigan.org.
Thanks, Liz. We'll continue this in more episodes. I'm Steve Oakers.
Julie Bacon,
Liz Keegan.
Sue Pasteur.
This is What's in a Cup. Thank you.
cheers.
Cheers.